Have you ever seen a video with a man wearing a tuba on his head, standing in an impressive pose while dramatic music plays in the background? You know, something like this. You probably have watched it and then went, huh, and moved on with your life. And if you did, I commend you for your self-control. When I first found this, my first impression was similar to that. I was thinking that there had to be some sort of source material that's based on a game, a comic, a movie, TV show, just, you know, something, anything. But when I looked into it, I found nothing. There is no source material that this is based off of, only memes and the content I saw in the first place. But what I was able to find was that this was all called Tuba Warriors. Now, what I want to explore today is what in the world is a Tuba Warrior, where did they come from, and most importantly, just why do they exist in the first place? Now let's start at the beginning. What is a Tuba Warrior? Do they always have to wear a tuba on their head, or can they wear something like a traffic cone? Well, actually they can, but that's another thing. At its most basic, a Tuba Warrior is a character comprised of or wearing musical instruments, standing in an imposing manner, and designed to look like a Dark Souls boss. There's also normally some sort of musical element attached to it, but that's not really a requirement. A notable point of origin for this was when the Instagram user Stalapapi posted a meme of him wearing a tuba on his head while carrying other instruments as if they were weapons, with the caption of Dark Souls 4 leak. It was clearly meant to be a joke, but eventually this joke would spiral way out of his control. Before I delve too far into that, here's a tarantula wearing an ice cream cone on its head with a big stick on the table next to it with weird music playing in the background. This is YouTuber Cat's video titled Tarantula Wizard Boss Music Theme from May of 2018, and it is coincidentally one of the first boss music theme videos on YouTube. This is important because the Tuba Warriors community uses this sort of video format quite often along with their fan art. It's integral to the community and is part of its identity at this point. This is probably how most people got introduced to Tuba Warriors fandom as a whole. Despite this, it wouldn't pop into existence until Lizardborn created the first one of these on November 4th of 2019 with the Tuba Wizard boss theme, which currently has over 860,000 views, which is incredible but not the most viewed video of this type. This one single video opened the Pandora's box for the entire community, and nothing has ever been the same since. You'll find hundreds of videos, compilations, playlists, and more from the community, and for some reason VeggieTales.
From the studios of Big Idea, it's Gideon, Tuba Warrior.
Anyway, back to the Tuba Warriors. Some of these videos have millions of views, with many more having several 100,000. This is a big deal, and it goes far deeper than just the music. If you look a little bit closer at the videos, especially in the comments, you'll notice one or two going something like this from the Tuba Wizard video. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so it's discussing party mechanics, what attacks to use. Oh, it looks like we have some boss stages and a discussion about the early game. This must be referencing some sort of source material, like say a video game, and not just making some random things up, right? Right? No. You see, this is where the Tuba Warriors goes from an interesting meme to a massive rabbit hole, which is nearly impossible to explain. But I'm here to try to explain it anyway. Back to that comment. There is no real game that this is referencing or giving advice for, and this person made up all of the abilities and the story surrounding the man wearing a tuba from the video. This comment has 400 likes, which tells me one of two things. Either a lot of people thought that this was incredibly funny, or this is a very common thing in the community. Considering how there are so many of these sorts of comments on almost every single video, I'm thinking it has to be the latter. That said, rabbit hole would be a grave understatement for the situation that this meme is in, because it is in lore entirely based on the whim of its fanbase. If someone says something about a character, like a backstory, gameplay mechanics, or just describes the world enough for people to like it, then it could be considered canon. Unless you don't like it, then you can just ignore it, because who needs consistency anyways? Even the wiki for the Tuba Warriors fandom has a disclaimer saying that it is only their interpretation, and they cite YouTube comments when writing their lore, which pretty much says it all. Anyone can create a character, make music for a character, write lore for the universe, or do anything else, since there is no official base for the meme. So long as it basically fits within the theme of a fantasy world based off of orchestral instruments, then it's fair game. I personally find there's something to be strangely beautiful about this. There's no strict canon that you need to follow, and anyone who enjoys it can contribute to it and explore it in their own way. They can decide what they find interesting and focus on that aspect without it being dragged down by other parts of the lore, and they can add to it as they wish. It's a level of personal freedom when it comes to the community that isn't really seen anywhere else. If you are at all interested in the lore, then the basic rundown is that this guy, King Tuba II, who rules over the Brass Kingdom, went mad and started corrupting other instrument kingdoms and generally doing dark, evil lord things and laughing maniacal in the corner. The main character of the non-existent games is called the Maestro and is tasked with defeating him, and the Maestro encounters many allies and enemies throughout the different orchestral kingdoms, and these are typically the characters that people create. Everyone is some sort of instrument-based being and has sound magic for attacks or just crushes you with a tuba robot or something. This actually exists, just look it up. Any lore further than this is almost entirely up for interpretation and personal preference, roughly controlled by the internet's hive mind, but also anyone can just decide what they want to believe anyway. That's pretty much where we are now, but what about the future? In 2020, the community took this framework and went nuts with it because of the lockdown and everyone was stuck inside and there wasn't really anything for them to do, so they turned to the Tuba Warriors community and started making all of these amazing videos and fan art. Because of this, it got incredibly large and exploded to the size that we see today, but the future is still uncertain for it. I can't tell if it's going to lose steam as lockdowns begin to get less and less common and the world opens up again, but I can say that I want to see it succeed as it goes on into the future. An interesting development that started to happen is that there's actually games being based off the memes about a fake game. One of the bigger ones is Orchestra, the Brass Fate, which doesn't have gameplay yet, but it has some music for the game, which is incredibly important considering what its subject is. It's only been in development for a year, so keep your release date expectations low, and since it's a community project, it might not have the same level of polish as a AAA game, but we can hope. Personally, I find this all to be incredibly interesting, and let's face it, if you watch this entire video, you probably find it at least a little bit interesting too. If you want to see any of these videos yourself or look into this any deeper, I've included a few of the larger ones down in the description, but if you click on this, you probably are at least a little bit familiar with the community. All I can say is that the Tuba Warriors has a great amount of potential and could easily expand even further than it already has. Its future is both bright and uncertain, but I hope it succeeds and climbs to heights it has never seen before. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking or subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. And if you want to, please comment down below. I will read it, and I might even comment on it myself. I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.